I'm Corey Skandarian, a practicing physiotherapist and founder of Nobody. My goal with Nobody is to help you, the allied health practitioner, gain a deeper insight on the human behind the body to create long-term therapeutic outcomes and bring a positive impact to the lives of your client community. Today, we are discussing fascia. Fascia is the envelope of the body. It is the outer shell of the nervous system where you can feel life's tension from the inside out. It is also the body's force transmission system where sensory signals travel up from our extremities to the brain to activate a reciprocal signal to make you move. It is our organ of sensation as well as a storage of emotion. It is our body shape in space and our navigation system of position. To discover this beautiful system in more depth, let's go speak to some people where their understanding of fascia come from two different perspectives. So today I'm with Fiona Laird, exercise and sports scientist and owner of Beyond Fitness Australia. And we're going to be talking about movement and fascia. What is an exercise and sports scientist doing owning a yoga studio?
Well, I guess my career began as an orthopedic nurse, working with a lot of people having surgeries and pain in their body, knee replacements, hip replacements, back surgeries. And I noticed at the time that a lot of them were deconditioned and overweight, and having played a lot of sport in my life from an early age and being active, I kind of realized that if these people were a little bit active as well, they probably wouldn't be in that situation. So it kind of encouraged me to go out and explore more in that direction, which is when I went back to university and did my sports science degree, exercise and sports science, and then on to do a master's degree in sports science as well, and to get more into the movement. So I really had a passion and an interest in helping people with pain in their body and with injury and helping them recover through exercise. And then I guess that evolved through my own experience with a yoga practice, and I realized there's much more to movement than just the muscles. There's more to working the muscles in the gym. Our brain doesn't work with a muscle, it works in movement patterns. And I realized the mind-body connection has a huge influence on people's pain and their movements and their posture and their daily habits and their repetitive thought processes in the mind. So it's just encouraged me to study yoga more, and so I can work with people today on bringing that balance into the mind and body. So our brain initiates our movement patterns through the nervous system, but more importantly, our body is wrapped in a glove of fascia, connective tissue. And not only does it wrap our entire musculoskeletal system, it's also connected to all of our organs. It's intricately connected to the nervous system. So all our nerve receptors, nerve endings, are connected into the fascia. So when we can change the brain, we can change the quality of the fascia and the health of the fascia as well. And we can not only do that by our thought processes, but by the movements that we make. And by tensioning and compressing the fascia, we can improve the quality, we can hydrate it better. We have what's called hyaluronic acid, chains of hyaluronic acid that run through the fascia in the body, and that attracts water. So when we can lubricate the tissue better, the nerve receptors can receive information and send it back to the brain, and then the brain can send out that sensory information and improve the function of the body and the movement as a whole.
I come from a place where movement is my medicine, and it's the medicine for my clients as well. And what's movement for you?
Bringing balance, equilibrium into the body through mind-body connection, and using the breath to make that connection also. And what I notice with many people these days, they have busy lifestyles, they're quite stressed out, they develop these repetitive patterns in their body. And when they come into my yoga class, the first thing I ask them to do is to be still and to notice what's going on inside of their body and inside of their mind.
Right.
Notice their breath, what's the quality of their breath doing, and to just sit and look at that. And with movement in a yoga class, for example, we take them outside of their comfort zone and we ask them, or I ask them, to notice your reaction. Notice the emotions that come up for you. Notice what's going on inside your mind. Is it a repetitive thought process or a repetitive pattern that you've repeated throughout the day? And when we look at that, is it serving you? So if not, let's just let that go. Let's be aware of it, let it go, and try and break those repetitive thought processes. So they say we have 50 to 70,000 thought processes a day in the mind. 80% of those are negative and 95% are repetitive. We can't stop the mind from thinking. It's the nature of the mind to think. So we're not about stopping those processes, but we can actually look at them and observe them and just let them pass by.
Yeah. Wonderful.
And by breaking those repetitive patterns in class or in a safe environment on the yoga mat, or whether it's in the anti-gravity hammock, we can then begin to change people's lives when they go back out to their daily routine. You've given them a safe place to address their emotions and their reactions and how they manifest in their body. It builds people's confidence and their self-esteem and their self-acceptance. And once they know that they can actually challenge what's going on in their mind, they have the conscious ability to change a thought pattern. If you change a thought pattern, you change an emotion. If you change an emotion, you change the quality of your connective tissue. So once they become aware that they actually have the power to change their thoughts inside of the classroom, they can do that outside as well.
How has movement helped you as a Parkinson's sufferer?
Well, the exercises in themselves are designed to increase your mobility, and we do this in 3 ways. The exercises have to be forced. By that I mean you take them outside their comfort zone. Exercises have to be repetitious, which boxing is very repetitious, and they have to be complex. Complex is defined as something where you're moving or trying to move 2 or more parts of yourself. Not totally something that you do normally, but with your boxing, you're moving your feet, you're punching, you're moving your hands, you're ducking, all that. You can't get much more complex than that. You put those 3 things in, do them well enough, and you get what's called neuroplasticity. This opens up new brain waves in the brain, and you get better use of the dopamine that you have got left. There isn't much left, but it becomes more efficient. And it also does some strange things. It can cause the symptoms to subside. You can't choose which symptoms, but they do subside. And that leads to a better quality of life. They even feel that they can slow down the progression of the disease. And if this is so, that's more than what medications can do. At the same time, we don't tell you to stop using medications. The exercise is done as an adjunct. The 2 of them combined are what helps. The longer they have had it, the more time they will need and the more exercising they'll need. Whereas someone who's just been diagnosed would get an improvement relatively quickly.
It goes to show that the human nervous system that you know very well, I work with, requires key ingredients to show change. You've mentioned about complexity. I like to tie it in as novelty. So when you bring in and introduce new movements that are effectively complex at first but become inconsistent. So that's what complexity, novelty, and consistency are for me the main ingredients to change the nervous system. And your program is offering those from a neurological perspective, and hence we see the beautiful changes in the people that join into the program. Today we learned that movement begins in the brain, that fascia is the conductor of electricity in our body and intertwines with all our entire physiology, and how movement is critical to the health of the body as a whole. In this module, we will explore the physiology of fascia, how sensory input governs motor output, how trauma can be stored in fascia and how we can help you release it, how the balance between tension and compression is essential in maintaining vitality in the human connective tissue system, and finally, the 15 most influential transition zones in the human body that create immediate results in enhancing your client's movement. I hope you will join me in this module to discover the human behind the body.